Hey, what's up? This is Chosen. Hope you're having a great day. This is going to be a Diablo 4 video, and I want to talk about the Paragon board for a little bit. Now, I'm definitely going to do an in-depth, full deep dive Paragon guide video at some point and definitely lay out some of the more advanced tips. But I think a lot of people that are new to Diablo are making a very key mistake when it comes to the Paragon board and are missing out on a ton of power as they dive into using this mechanic. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, if you're new to Diablo 4, another game is just coming out for the global release. You're going to go into your skills tab, and then you get your skill tree, which you're going to get for levels 1 to 50, and then you're going to get Paragon points from levels 50 to 100, and that's what those little ticks are as you level up on your leveling bar. You're basically going to get a Paragon point every 25% of a level as you're leveling up. And also, really quick, I think people go a little bit too hard in the paint on the Nightmare Sigils, which are what you need to do to level up your glyphs. You clear a Nightmare dungeon using a sigil, and then at the end of the dungeon, you are going to be able to upgrade your glyphs, similar to Legendary Gems in Diablo 3 when you finish a Greater Rift, and then you upgrade your Legendary Gems after you kill the Rift Guardian. Well, there's a similar mechanic in Diablo 4, and I think people are doing that a little bit too soon. You want to level up probably 2 or 3 glyphs to a basic kind of early level. As you can see right here, I've got the exploit glyph at level 8 and I've got the destruction glyph at level 7. I just now kind of hit my 3rd glyph to insert into my board, which is the control that I've got at level 1. So now I would want to go run a couple of those dungeons to get that up to a decent level, but then I want to get back to farming XP. XP is going to be the critical progression point you want to focus on until at least level 70, probably level 80. It really slows down at level 70, and then it extremely slows down at level 80. So I would get the baseline of XP and get your character developed, get leveled up to a point where you have a decent amount of Paragon points, and then start kind of leveling up these glyphs as you go, and you're starting to socket them in your board. So that's a couple of quick general things I wanted to get out of the way when we're introducing the Paragon board, because it's the kind of the first video I've done here on my channel deep diving into the Paragon board specifically. And what I wanted to talk about, the main reason I wanted to do this video was people are wasting way too many points way too early in their Paragon process of taking random nodes. Like, oh, this node is so close and it gives me plus 5% non-physical damage. 1 Paragon point for 5% non-physical damage. Why wouldn't I take that? That's super amazing. Or why not just spend a couple to come over here to get 8% all res and 10 intelligence? Yeah, let me go over and scoop that. That's only 2 Paragon points, and I can get that. And that's sound logic. It seems like that would make sense, but you absolutely do not want to do that. And the reason why is because the biggest spikes in your power by far are the glyph sockets. So you want to be unlocking these as fast as you can. So what we're going to do is we are going to beeline our Paragon board and set it up in a way where we can get to glyph sockets as fast as possible with as little Paragon points as possible. So you can see that I can actually expand this a little bit. That'll make it a little bit bigger here. Yeah, that's a lot better for the video. Sorry, I should have had that like this for a long time. So, okay, this is where we started on our board. And you can see I kind of go straight to the Paragon glyph. Now, the only exception is you see how this says for every 5 dexterity purchased within range. So we do want to do everything that snowballs our glyph. So I do want to get every single point into dexterity around this glyph that I possibly can. So you see I had to spend 2 points. Over here, dex, and then I come down here to the left and make sure I spend enough points to get to this dexterity node. But I did this on purpose to show you, look at this one. You're thinking, well, I got to take this dexterity node because it helps out with the glyph socket right here. But this is actually a bad play. You can see how it is outside of the red squares, that kind of angle in a square or a diamond around your glyph. That dexterity point is a wasted point if I put something there, because it's not within the radius to contribute towards snowballing and progressing the glyph. So then, after I get every single dexterity node that I possibly can that connects within the radius of empowering the glyph, now I'm going to typically want to beeline to my next glyph socket. But for my build specifically, I did really want to prioritize these mana nodes and also attack speed, because my build is centered around getting bonuses based on how much mana I have, and I want to make that a lot more consistent, and also doing burst damage while I'm in high density areas, like grouping things up, teleporting in the middle, and then brrr, machine gun and bursting everything down. So I did want to prioritize getting these right away. So once I have gotten those nodes that are super build defining for me that I wanted to prioritize right away, you'll see that I use my next board to beeline straight for a glyph. Come right down there and go right to the glyph node. And then after I get that, I don't waste my time with any of these powerful nodes. Nope, nope, nope. They seem like they're within range and it would make sense, but nope. We're gonna beeline straight north into a new gate. And then look, I was able to rotate this board and get this glyph socket as close as possible, and I can get there within just a few points, diagonaling my way up here. This is another dexterity glyph, so I would take every single dexterity point that is, again, within that red area. So the main gist and the main tip that I want to get across to you in this video is take the things that are very build defining, like the mana and the attack speed that I got very early on my board, and then always prioritize beelining to your next glyph socket. You can see after I take this one, I'm gonna beeline straight out of the gate and then into a new board and into a glyph socket as soon as possible. And another thing that's worth noting is if you see on this glyph socket right here, down towards the bottom, it says requirements not met. I'm at 20 out of 25 dexterity. So that is a requirement to get this glyph enabled here in this socket. So there's really no point to me doing the nightmare dungeons to level this up until I have enough Paragon points to be able to get to enough dexterity nodes to unlock this glyph socket. So you can see that I need one more node that gives me 5 dexterity. So where is my soonest one that I can get to on my board? It's going to be right here. I've got a dexterity node, and my quickest path there is probably to take this one. And then I'm going to have to take this one and go over here to dexterity. And it's a little bit out of the way, but those nodes are worth it if they ramp up your glyph, especially if they're going to be enabling it. So within 3 points, I'm going to get within 3 Paragon points, I'm going to get a big power spike because I'm going to meet the requirement for this glyph. And then I will be able to really ramp that up. And then it's worth it to dive into a few nightmare dungeons and at least get a couple base levels on this, and then go back to prioritizing getting more XP and more Paragon levels. And then as soon as I get that dexterity node and I unlock this glyph, what am I going to do? I'm going to beeline straight out of the board and get to another glyph socket as fast as I can and attach the board and unlock another glyph socket, and then work on getting enough points to level up the stat around that. And then when I unlock the glyph, go into the nightmare dungeons and get a couple of the base levels knocked out, and then go right back to farming XP. So yeah, the Paragon boards can seem a little bit daunting. They definitely are a source of confusion for some of the newer players that are just hitting level 50 for the first time, and there's a lot to look at. But basically, you just want to get the nodes that are build defining. You don't really want to go for like damage reduction or even like resistance or anything. You want to be dealing damage. That's how you farm XP. You need to be killing stuff in order to be progressing in the game. So prioritize the things that enable your build, like I did with the attack speed. Otherwise, go straight for glyphs and try to unlock the stat around them and get them enabled, and then get some base levels. But you want to be prioritizing XP until you're at least level 70 or 80. Also, there is one thing that I do want to clarify here, and that is, you might be a little bit confused watching this video. I'm talking about beelining to glyphs and how that is such a priority. Well, why didn't I beeline over to this glyph? Because I had to come into this board anyway to get the maximum mana and the attack speed that I wanted for my build. Why not spend the points to get over here to this glyph socket right away? Well, the reason is, in my build here for my Sork, I want to prioritize getting dexterity nodes, because dexterity gives me crit chance on my build, which is insanely impactful for me, cranking out burst damage. So on this glyph socket, if I take a dex glyph, see one of these that scale with dex, it says for every 5 dexterity within range. Well, this glyph socket right here, unfortunately, it doesn't have very much dex around it. So I wouldn't really be able to use one very easily that goes ahead and double dips with the glyphs I want to use right out the gate. But at some point, when I use like an intelligence glyph or something, let me see, is there enough nodes around here? Yeah, I could probably theory craft a way to come over here and take this and get some efficiency out of it. But I did want to prioritize crit rate out the gate, which, as you see right here, if you go into your character, you can pull it up under the stats. And when I go over dexterity, see that it increases crit strike chance and dodge. Crit strike chance is what I really want to prioritize on my Sork build to be able to burst things down as fast as possible. So I hope these quick tips helped you out a little bit for understanding the Paragon board, and I will definitely do a more deep dive video on Paragon very soon and include it in all the builds that I share here on the channel. So remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Diablo 4 content, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Appreciate you. Peace.